Thank you for joining me today. I hope you are actually enjoying the DevOps Enterprise Summit and you have still an energy for a few more talks. I am actually, for me, it has been a fantastic experience. So many great talks, great conversations. Really, I learned a lot and I'm inspired to do different things and new things when I go back. I was also happy to see some familiar faces and reconnect with the people I met a few years ago when I was here, and also to meet some new faces. So today I will be talking about the Distinguished Engineer Program, the role, and the engineering culture. So first of all, before going into that, let me tell you a little bit more about myself. So I started actually my technical career back in 2000 when I finished the university and in my home country, Serbia, and I moved to Switzerland with the first job. So over the next few years, I actually worked across different companies in Switzerland, different tech companies in Switzerland. And then in 2006, I actually joined UBS, where I stayed for 15 years. UBS, for some of you that don't know, is a largest global Swiss bank, now since a few weeks even larger than before. It's also the place for me that was crucial for my career, that actually made me into the technologies that I'm today. It was a really challenging experience, but as Rosalind said, through the challenge, we actually built our strength. But it was also ultimately, at the end of the day, really rewarding for me. I actually had a variety of the roles because this is how you stay for a long time in one company. And I'm only going to mention like two that were my favorite one. So the one that was really important for me is, of course, being a distinguished engineer. I became a distinguished engineer at UBS in 2018. And another one is a strategic architect. This was my last role. And it was really interesting because I was asked to create the vision and execute the vision for the wealth management IT, which is actually the biggest tech organization at UBS. Now, of course, I align my vision with the DevOps from the perspective of the tools, processes, organization, and culture. It was really funny to see, I was speaking here back in 2018, and I was talking about 12 years of injecting DevOps and Agile at UBS. So finally, I had a chance to actually implement the DevOps broadly, more broadly than ever before. And I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a pandemic and, vaccination was mandatory or you needed it to travel. I have no idea how that happened. But joking aside, I think it was just the right time, and I think timing for these kind of transformations is everything. And UBS was just ready at that moment of time to embrace this. So as I was just wrapping up this initiative, I actually got an exciting offer in the different company. And in March 2022, I moved to the Thomson Reuters and became their first distinguished engineer. So Thomson Reuters, as many of you know, is actually global provider of the news and information-based tools for the professionals and institutions. We like to say at the Thomson Reuters that together with our professionals and institution, we actually help inform the way forward into the trustworthy world for all. Now, I think we can all agree that in today's world especially, trustworthy information is more important than ever before. And so when I say inform the way forward, how do we really do this at Thomson Reuters? Well, we inform the way forward at Thomson Reuters by delivering the information that can be used, and that is used by professional and institution to actually come up with a data-informed decisions, and very important decisions in many cases. So our business is actually Thomson Reuters products deliver very specialized information for the bunch of different businesses, like to legal professionals, to corporates, to tax professionals in accounting. We also, and everybody knows, we are also providing the trusted news information. This is also part of our business, being Reuters News. And on top of that, we actually have a global print where we provide the printing information to our tax and accounting professionals. I always like to cover some facts and figures. So here I'm actually going to go and to be honest, I'm going to go here because it's even bigger for me. So I'm just going to cover several facts and figures because I find them always fun. Our headquarters is in Toronto, in Canada, and our enterprise center is in Zug, in Switzerland. We have operations in more than 75 countries and have 25,000 employees. Our employees are we have a really diverse workforce. This is one of the things that I really like. And I would say that most of the people that I met in this short time, I was there relatively short comparing to my time with a previous employer. I think most of them, or all of them, are really competent for what they are doing, and they're very, very helpful. I think corporate culture is something that I see really, really great at Thomson Reuters, and I do believe that was probably one of the reasons why I decided to join them. Now, on top of this, our employees also love to volunteer. So last year, they actually booked 67,000 volunteering hours just on the topics that they are passionate about. Of course, Thomson Reuters is also an award-winning employer. There are many different awards we are getting, but this one is the one that I'm really mostly excited about. You know, being the female-friendly company is something that I would look for as a woman in tech. In addition, we generated 20 million globally in services in a free legal assistance for NGO and social enterprises, and we are running 100% on a renewable energy for all our global operations. Now, where am I in the organization? Well, obviously, being a distinguished engineer, you would think that I would be in operations and technology, and this is really where I am. But just to kind of give you an idea how important operations and technology are for Thomson Reuters. So Thomson Reuters has a rich history of leveraging AI for over the 30 years, starting with the first AI product that we launched back in '91. So NLP, ML, all of our AI capabilities are really important when we are giving that trusted information to our customers and clients to actually come up with the decisions. It's also, all of these capabilities are enabling us to quickly give this information and enable the customers across the industries and across the world. So operations and technology is really crucial for the success of the Thomson Reuters. And so I'm very happy to be part of it and also to be part of the company that is a pioneer in AI, since so many years. It's an exciting time to be in. As Patrick said yesterday, I think we should explore and, kind of enjoy exploring the AI, especially us as a technologist. So I sit in a product engineering in Switzerland. My boss is Sean Malhotra. He's a head of engineering. My part of organization has around 4,000 people. And across tech, we have around 6,000 people. As my role is global, I actually work with all of them. I work also with other parts of operations and technology. And in addition to that, I work with the different areas. I work with the different business areas. I work also with product and design organization, and I even work with HR. So let's go back to what I was saying. I joined Thomson Reuters back in March of 2022 as their first distinguished engineer. So what was really great for this is that I joined and I had the chance to define what is a distinguished engineer. Now, because there is not really kind of a unique definition or standard definition of a distinguished engineer across the world, simply because it can vary depending on the industry and organization where the distinguished engineers are in. So I think the better question here to ask is, what is a distinguished engineer at Thomson Reuters? And so my definition is that this is an experienced senior technologist, very influential, with a knowledge in a different methodologies, technical methodologies, and best practices. Somebody who is supporting innovation, who is inspiring and triggering innovation that is happening around the company. This is a person that has a tracked delivery of technical achievements. So it's somebody you know that knows how to deliver production technical product. It's also somebody who is a mentor and coach, who is supporting people, who is a technical thought leader, and somebody who can explain maybe the most difficult, complex topics or concepts to different audiences and spark that commitment and engagement that you would expect. It is also somebody who actually sees the big picture, but can understand the details and can go into the details when it's needed. I'm also expecting from the distinguished engineer, or I'm seeing a distinguished engineer as a person that has a presence internally and externally, somebody who is able to promote technical achievements, to share the knowledge, to be part of the community internally and externally. Externally, as I am here today with all of you, sharing my experience and listening to you. So, to be more precise, you're still maybe wondering, so how to become a distinguished engineer at Thomson Reuters? Well, to become a distinguished engineer at Thomson Reuters, I'm expecting for this individual to actually cover 4 key competencies. And they're really related to what I explained as my definition of a distinguished engineer. So this is technical skills, expertise, and excellence, technical leadership, internal and external tech ambassador, and minimum 5 years at Thomson Reuters. Now, this last one is a very important one because I wanted to select the people that are already doing this at Thomson Reuters. They're already bringing the value. They're visible to not just tech community, but also to the business. They're visible to the whole company. I basically wanted to choose the individuals that are no-brainers. If somebody sees the distinguished engineers that we today have, nobody is surprised that these people are there because they have been doing this for a long time before I was there. I was basically just acknowledging their excellence. So I would say we had a really rigorous selection process. There was a very high standard that they had to achieve. I was interviewing people together with the heads of other tech organizations. And basically in December 2022, we selected the first cohort of the distinguished engineer. So in 2023, I'm joined with 4 more distinguished engineers. Together, we are actually going to make the company stronger. And we will make sure to bring the values to Thomson Reuters, and not just internally, but also externally to our products and the customers. At Thomson Reuters, we're committed to having our distinguished engineers at the table as we make the most important decisions for our customers and our company. So now, all of this is great, but you are maybe also wondering, what do I do in my day-to-day work? Like, what does this really mean when you actually, wake up in the morning and go to work? So, as a distinguished engineer, I'm involved in a variety of the topics and initiatives. And I'm going to walk you through I kind of categorize them just to give you a better overview. So first one, and just to say, I'm taking my example, but it's very similar how it is for the other distinguished engineers. I'm just going with my example because it's me and it's easier for me to share my experience. So the first one, I'm involved in innovation. So innovation has always been very, very important to me. Over the years, and it's specifically applied innovation, is looking at the technology from the perspective that can bring, from the perspective of the value that can bring to the business or organization that you are in. So over the years, I created many different concepts and ran many initiatives. And I think that, curating innovations in the company actually enables the company to establish and maintain competitive advantage. I think that innovation just makes companies more relevant, and customers appreciate it, and also for the people working in those companies, these are the environment where they are stimulated to do more and to actually enjoy their work. So innovation, if I look at the innovation, I like to look at the top-down and bottom-up innovation. Bottom-up innovation is the one that is coming from employees. They usually know their products, they know shortcomings, they know strengths, and they always have an idea how to improve things. Top-down innovation is the innovation coming from the leaders. It's usually driven by some strategic vision, direction, and so on. What is really important is I think that for successful innovation in the corporate setup, it is important that continuously balance these both type of innovations. This is how you will actually achieve, I would say, successful culture of innovation in the company. So from that perspective, being at Thomson Reuters, I have been already involved in and built several concepts. I ran the Ideathon for our law associates, for the global law firms, our clients. I also ran the hackathon that I did in a collaboration with our AI department with focus on our AI internal tools and product usage data. I'm currently running Ideathon that I think will unleash the creativity of Thomson Reuters employees and kind of demystify those scary concepts like LLMs and ChatGPT. And it's going really well. I think we have more than 200 ideas at this point of time. So it's going to be really tricky for me and other evaluators to evaluate them. And I'm also planning the Global Hackathon in September, which will be the cross-functional applied innovation event with set of challenges. The ideas winning on the Ideathon will have a chance actually to be prototyped there. So in addition to innovation, I'm also involved in the tech-relevant topics, and that's no surprise. So basically, these are the topics that are ensuring standardization from a technical perspective, adoption of the tools, governance around the tools, and so on. And the topics I can mention in here is, and no surprise there, I'm involved in the DevOps and modern tool adoption, as well as path to production or AI model experimentation. There are many different topics that I am actually involved as an advisor or more deeper going into the details. In addition to that, I'm also involved in the cross-functional activities. These are activities where I collaborate with other parts of organization. So as an example, I took part in a service design delivery model, which was our process that we defined of how to create new features and new products. I'm also working together with a product and design organization on kind of looking at our product teams' way of working and also checking their effectiveness. And in addition of that, I'm involved in people and culture initiatives. Well, all of these initiatives are strengthening the engineering culture, but I would say this one does that mostly, obviously, also because it is in the name. But what does it mean in here is that I'm supporting initiatives like technical mentoring, like learning path, community, creating the community of practice, just giving an opportunities for our technologists to continuously educate themselves and keep on learning. Now, all of these, if you're asking yourself, so how do I get to these initiatives? Because I think this is really important. Being a distinguished engineer is also having the opportunity and chance to get there. So some of these initiatives are self-triggered, just based on my observation and the gaps that I see, and just by talking and listening to technologists. Others are coming from the leaders as a request, and in either way, they're actually bringing the value to the Thomson Reuters, and they're aligned with a vision. It is important that even if you have an idea, if it's totally off of where we are going as a company, it really doesn't make sense. Now, these initiatives are also aligned with my capabilities, with my experience, with my technical skills, and so on, which means that other distinguished engineers have a slightly different initiatives that are aligned with their own capabilities. Now, what we do usually, we work together on these initiatives. So this way, I can actually go into something that is not necessarily really aligned with my current skills and make sure that I continue my development, and because I have to continuously learn and grow. So this one, I think it's a very important. And from the perspective of, how do we actually bring the value, or how do we know that we are bringing the value for Thomson Reuters? Because this is what I mentioned before. Well, it's not simple, but it is in a way. I'm really measured, and all the other distinguished engineers, by the value I bring as, through the success criteria of the initiatives I'm involved in. And by this, I mean, even if the initiative is, whatever comes out of the initiative, whatever we came to do, and even if it's a lessons learned, it actually is my value as well, and my work is measured through this initiative. In addition to that, of course, we are measured by Thomson Reuters OKRs, because what we are doing is bringing value to the organization, and by the Distinguished Engineer Program OKRs. Now with this, I'm actually going to tell you a little bit more about the Distinguished Engineer Program. So when I had a chance to join Thomson Reuters as a Distinguished Engineer and define the role and select other distinguished engineers, I thought that this was a great opportunity for me to actually build the program. And I like to call this more as a framework, because program has the end. I don't want this to end. I want this to continuously evolve and grow, and actually make sure that we maintain that strong culture. So as we are strong engineering culture, so as we are making our engineer culture even stronger than it is, the idea is also to continue that and maintaining. And I think all of you know, we are all technologists, maintenance is sometimes more difficult than kicking something off. Keeping something on an excellent level takes sometimes more people and more effort than actually the concept and the idea you're kicking off. So from that perspective, I was inspired to do this even during the interviewing process. And I talked to the Thomson Reuters colleagues. At that time, they were not my colleagues, but I listened to them and I understood what the company needs. And then obviously I had my experience as a distinguished engineer and somebody working so many years in tech. And so I came up with a distinguished engineer program with the following mission. Of course, to recognize the outstanding technical achievements of our technologists, and therefore our key technologists, to establish a rewarding technical career path. This is really important. So basically, technical career path that I'm calling in here, it's an individual contributor path. Why is this important? So before I joined, Thomson Reuters only had a managerial, people manager path and architect path. And there were people stuck in the roles that were wrong fit. We all heard that talk yesterday, and that is always a problematic. You don't get anything from people if they're stuck in a wrong fit. So I created the technical career path that allows the people that want to stay hands-on, engineers that want to develop further, to actually further their career. There are two roles that I introduced here because I saw that there is one role missing when I introduced the distinguished engineer. Distinguished engineer role is executive role, and there is a principal engineer role, which is the senior role, that is very, very important also to build that pipeline for the distinguished engineers. You need to give people time to actually grow into that, what you want them to do as a distinguished engineers. So this was really something that Thomson Reuters engineer community needed, and everybody are still excited about, as they should be. And in addition, as this is a no-brainer in here, I'm mentioning this already several times, the mission of the Distinguished Engineer Program is really to strengthen our engineering culture, to provide the purpose for the technologists while helping us retain, grow, and attract talent. And so from that perspective, if you think the initiatives that I mentioned before, those initiatives are also measured by the Distinguished Engineer OKRs. So we have our own OKRs that are obviously aligned with the Thomson Reuters OKRs, but are very specific for our program. And as I'm continuing building out this program together with the other distinguished engineers, we're making sure that we are actually fulfilling our mission while bringing the value to the Thomson Reuters. This is just a consequence. So as I was preparing this, Jean actually asked me to put a few testimonials in here. And I thought it's a good idea because when I was selecting the distinguished engineer, I relied, also because I was a new in organization, I relied on those 360 reviews from different people. I basically wanted to choose the technologists that other people think are great, not the one with inflated ego that think they are great, but they don't have anyone to back up. So from that perspective, I think it's also important that my Distinguished Engineer program is actually checked all the time and reassessed, and that I get testimonials from the people that are somehow involved about the program. So here they are. I'm not going to read through them, but basically, I just chose a few that were my favorite one, from Sean, my boss and head of engineering, Kirsty, our chief operations and technology officer, and Ryan, my fellow distinguished engineer. If you look in here, the basic things in here are customer-focused technologies, bringing value to the Thomson Reuters, helping us achieve competitive edge, and making or enabling the distinguished engineers to be involved in strategic decisions. So now, before I finish, and I'm hoping that I still have a little bit of time. I'm not so bad. So I want to go back to that strong engineering culture that I was talking about, or in general an engineering culture, as this is really the core of the Distinguished Engineering Program, strengthening of the engineering culture. So what I think at this point of time is happening, and I think for all the right reasons, all the companies are right now concerned about engineers and about engineering culture. And this is a good thing. I think we've seen most of the talks that we've seen are touching upon that. Are the engineers happy? How do we make them happier? How do we motivate them? How do we make sure that they are the right fit? So I think we're in a good time it's good that companies are thinking in this way, because going forward, they will need even more engineers. I'm sure about that. So what is really important here to point out that the engineering culture is really the culture that matters to engineers. So it's something that can impact how they behave, how they make decisions, even how they feel. So it's normal and logical that it's important. So from that perspective, I think, and there is another, we were not talking so much in here about this, but I think the purpose is something that we are looking for, and maybe even, through the whole pandemic experience, it's even more important. Well, I believe that a strong engineering culture provides the purpose for the technologies, and ultimately, again, as I mentioned before, helps retain, grow, and attract talent. I actually like to compare culture, or the term of culture, with a garden. So is any one of you here likes working in a garden? Oh, okay, there are a few hands. Okay. So, for the garden, you can have a great vision, and you can actually have really a great seeds. And you're like, awesome, I'm going to have this garden. Like, it. You have your, vision board, everything. Now, if you don't fertilize and hydrate your soil, your flowers will not grow. You will have nothing there, right? If you actually invest time, and you need to continuously do that, you need to continuously fertilize and continuously hydrate, your flowers will grow. And not only that they will grow, but they will maybe achieve the wildest vision, not even the vision that you had in mind, but maybe even go over that. Well, this is how I see that as the soil is a foundational to your garden, in the same way, the culture is foundational to your organization. So if you invest in your culture, and specifically into an engineering culture, and provide the place where technologies want to work, you will get more outstanding technologies. You will attract even more. And, it's really logical. If you have that healthy culture, you will have a healthy organization. And healthy, strong organization automatically brings the value to the business. This is just a common sense. We all know common sense is not always common as it seems, but it is, at the end of the day, the common sense. And then from that perspective, I would say I see the strong engineering culture establishing inclusive workplaces where technologies are empowered to achieve and maintain excellence, where senior technologists provide technical mentoring, where we have organic and applied innovation from any role, and where learning paths, community of practice, and growth opportunities available for everybody. And, you know, I am, as a distinguished engineer, I want to make sure that the company where I'm at, Thomson Reuters, together with my fellow distinguished engineers, to make sure that we continue. We do have a strong engineering culture, but we need to make sure to maintain this. Because the culture is not something, as with a garden, it's not something you do it once and that's it. No, you need to continuously reassess the situation in your and in this case, I'm talking about the culture, but it's the same for a garden, in your organization to see if your technologists are happy, if everything is going the right way. So it's a continuous job of leaders, not just distinguished engineers, but any leaders in organization to make sure that they are providing the environment that enables others to flourish and to become the best version of themselves. So with this, I'm going to leave you with a few questions. Did you recently pulse check your organization? And I don't mean the surveys, you know, that you send out and so on. I really mean this. Did you recently talk with your engineers about their work, aspirations, things they love and they hate? I think we had a talk yesterday about somebody going 40 floors every day to find out how their engineers are doing. I don't think you need to do that, but find a way to find this out. Are you aware about the buzz about your organization outside of your usual official channels? We also had a talk where they say what the organization is talking about internally is sometimes not the same as a buzz that is coming externally. So, you know, what do you hear about your organization when nobody knows that you are from there? Or in engineering communities, the conferences like this. So if your answer on this is, I don't know, I would say take some time to find out because you will get the valuable insights and great ideas for improvement. And with this, you can actually create and you can ensure that you are strengthening engineering culture in your company. You don't need a distinguished engineer program. You can actually do this just by listening to others and following with some activities. So with this, I'm just going to say, please reach out to share with me your journey. I'm here still, but you can always reach out to me via LinkedIn. And, you know, maybe you have some suggestions for me, because I am here also in the beginning of the journey, and I'm learning as well. I think we all are. I just want to say, let's continue the conversation. Let's not stop on this. And, yeah, hope to hear more from you and learn about your experiences. Thank you very much.